Hi, I'm Bob Lederer, and welcome to Pharma Research VIDEO Report, where pharmaceutical, healthcare, biotech, and medical device market researchers go for news, information, and insights that they just won't find anywhere else. Let's get started. We're going to spend a sizable amount of our time today looking at the Apple iWatch. The much ballyhooed smartwatch has rumored numerous health attributes, and it may be available as early as this October, and if not, shortly thereafter. It's extremely relevant to you because the iWatch may require FDA certification as a medical device. So far, we know a lot of things about the company, and it's slowly leaking out. For instance, about its management. It boasts former Yves Saint Laurent CEO Paul Deneuve, former Burberry CEO Angela Ahrendts. She's the new retail chief. And just last week, Tag Heuer, VP of Sales and Retail Patrick Pruniau, came on board in an unstated executive role. By the way, Tag Heuer, if you don't know, is a very high-end Swiss watch. Every observer is predicting a premium-priced iWatch because, well, frankly, an Apple product is rarely, now make that never, popular priced. Apple also loves the role of market disruptor, and iWatch speculators predict that it will be superior in three important ways: appearance, battery life, and usefulness to what's already available in this most appealing market segment. London's Daily Mail reported the iWatch will contain at least 10 and maybe more health measurement sensors. One supposedly involves sweat. The Motley Fool expects the iWatch and its data will be compatible with Apple's HealthKit platform, which means personal information collected from fitness apps and wearable devices will be storable in an iOS 8 dashboard known as Health. And what do we know about Health? Actually, a couple of very important things. It's connected to a major electronic health record company that says it's housing the personal health data already of over half of the U.S. population. And Apple also revealed it is working with the Mayo Clinic, the Cleveland Clinic, and the National Institute of Health on its HealthKit app. At the Apple Worldwide Developers Conference just last week, Mayo Clinic President and CEO John Noseworthy said, quote, "We believe Apple's HealthKit will revolutionize how the health industry interacts with people," end of quote. All these details show why iWatch speculation is so focused on it as a useful health monitor, and that will undoubtedly allow it to find a crucial patient information niche with MDs. As for its impact in the consumer marketplace, Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty, perhaps liberally, is projecting that 30 to 60 million iWatches will be sold at $300 each in Apple's rollout year. Lowball estimates say it'll be between 3 and 10 million, and again, that's the lowball estimate. Moving on, we at PRVR have been inundated with suffocating detail about how pharma and healthcare community market research is changing. Listen, there's no complaints. We love to ride the wave of change and to help you make the necessary transitions to stay on pace. But one idea that just caught my eye this past week came from Mark Hadfield, the CEO of HelloMD. He explained to me that many top-line doctors are frankly fed up with a lot of things in their field, including having to deal with insurance companies and their ability to deliver the very best health care to their patients. So HelloMD comes into place. It's recruiting what it describes as the top 1% of doctors in their respective specialties. And it wants to service consumers who want to see the very best physicians and who are willing to pay cash for almost immediate access and the expert treatment. Mark and I spoke late last week. Mark, where did the idea for your company come from?
Well, the idea came from looking at technologies and getting out and talking to doctors. And what we found is that as we spoke to more and more doctors, we started to identify the common frustrations with a lot of different doctors. And so we sort of abandoned the technology focus that we had, and we focused on building a service that was direct to consumers. It's for people that want priority access to the world's best doctors. Now, priority access in many cases means you need to pay out of pocket because these doctors are in high demand. However, some of them accept insurance, and they may not necessarily have wait times. So the pay out of pocket is, an aspect of how the doctor does business, but that's not a requirement to use our service.
Mm-hmm. Now, the appointments are set up through your company, correct?
That's right.
And somebody will come to you and say, here's my problem. What if the patient is uncertain about exactly what the malady is?
Well, we have a medical advisory board of some of the top doctors, including our chief medical officer, who's a practicing orthopedic surgeon. And so, I'm not a doctor myself, but when we get those inquiries where we require medical knowledge, we'll direct them. In fact, this just happened today. And if we can't find a doctor that's in our network, we'll try and assist in finding one that's out of our network. We try and help people as much as possible. We cover every medical specialty, so there's nothing that's not covered. And some of these doctors do treat incredibly serious conditions, and we see those patients come through our system too.
Is it difficult for you to find and to recruit physicians into your network?
Not at all. I'll tell you why. First of all, we're very selective about choosing the right doctors, and the first question a doctor asks me when I interact with them is, who else is in your system? There's many doctors' websites out there that don't differentiate between them. They have every doctor under the sun. But we really have the best of the best, the top 1% of doctors. And its very nature, doctors want to be part of that. They have a great deal of respect for the other professionals in the network already, as well as the fact that the business model is attractive to them. These doctors are very busy. They don't tend to be very savvy at marketing, and we take on all of that marketing for them, including video production. We film them. We have a very technically sophisticated website. So it's a good win-win.
So were your experiences outside the United States at all instrumental in putting this idea together?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'd say the time that I spent in the UK, United Kingdom, I lived there for 3 years, and for a long time it's been established that there's effectively a two-tier medical system that everybody's very comfortable with. And that is, you can get free medical care on the state, what they call the National Health Service. And if you don't like that for whatever reason, maybe you want a better level of care, maybe you want to be selective about your physician, maybe you want immediate treatment, you can at any time either buy private health insurance or just pay out of pocket. And there's many doctors that don't see NHS patients and only see private patients. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's where the system's heading in the United States. I think we'll have something similar. And it's not a reprehensible situation. It really isn't. It allows the patient freedom of choice and allows the doctor freedom of choice, and it also provides a level of care to everybody, which is there. Take a look at HelloMD.com. You'll find a physician's blog with extensive interviews with doctors on innovative treatments that are really world-leading. They're very fascinating content. And so we leverage the experts we have, which are the doctors, to create what we call high-value content, and we put it out into the social media channels when people are looking for it. And again, that's something that doctors are just not good at, but we do it on their behalf.
Have you had any reaction from them or from anybody related to them as to what you're doing and what they think about it?
I haven't interacted with insurance companies to date. My focus has been on doctors and patients. I think, insurance has a role. It's not us versus the insurance companies, there's no question about that. Insurance has a role, but we think that the role of insurance shouldn't really be between the doctor and the patient, and that's where it is today. And I hear many stories from doctors that are frustrated. They have a patient, the patient is in acute pain, they need treatment, the doctor knows how to treat them, recommends treatment for them, and yet can't get the insurance company to compensate for the treatment, or the treatment that the insurance company will compensate for is something other than what the doctor recommends. And I think that's a sad situation. It shouldn't really be that way. We're a young company. We're focusing more on building the network first. We have a target of 300 doctors by the end of the year across 3 cities. And we do have
those cities are what, Mark?
San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're going to be moving east and doing New York and doing other major cities quickly. And we have patient flow happening, but I can't divulge the actual numbers. We're going to focus on the big cities, at least initially. We don't, because a lot of the doctors that we have, people will travel to see because they're that good and they have techniques that are that uncommon. We want to focus on doctors that are in cities that people want to travel to. People typically travel with a companion. If you're flying in from China, for example, from Japan or Korea to be treated by an oncologist, you're going to come with a companion.
It almost sounds to me, and I don't want to be unfair, that this is a service for people who are wealthy. Is that unfair?
I think that that our patient population tends to skew to people that have some means. I wouldn't necessarily say wealthy. It's not the top 1%. It is the top 10%. And it's there's other trends happening in healthcare, like for example the growth of concierge primary care, where primary care docs have changed their business models and they now charge an annual cash fee, but you get unlimited access to them. This is a big trend that's taken place in America. There's over 4,000 of those doctors in America alone. So it's not just for the top, most wealthy people. It's for anybody who understands that if you pay a little bit more, it's not necessarily much more, you get a better quality of care. You get to choose your doctor. Your doctor knows who you are. You get treated when you want to get treated. And that's the target market for us.
And as from what I understand, I will know up front if I call your service and say, I need a hip replacement, what is it going to cost me?
Yeah, if you call our service and say you need a hip replacement, we will be able to give you a bundled price on that hip replacement from a doctor that you select. And the bundled price would include the doctor's fee, the anesthesiologist's fee, and the treatment center fee. And so that in itself is fairly novel. And the other thing that's interesting, which a lot of people don't see, is that a hospital might charge $65,000 for a hip replacement because you spend 5 days in hospital. Well, we have a surgeon right here in California that will charge $25,000 for that same hip replacement. The reason is that the technique that they use to perform the hip replacement gets you up and walking the next day. So the recovery time is so much faster, so you don't spend 5 days in hospital. So the cost is so much lower. So it's a win-win for everybody, except for the hospital. The state of healthcare in America is in flux, there's no question. And doctors are given the choice of either going to work for hospitals or going out of business or reducing the quality of care they provide. That's the dilemma that they're facing. And so really, we're just responding to this sort of latent frustration which is happening in the market. And I think patients are probably slower to recognize those same things, but it's certainly happening.
If you'd like to know more about HelloMD from Mark, you can email him at mark@hellomd.com. That's this week's Pharma Research Video Report. A reminder that our video is now available in the cloud for those of you who can't view YouTube, and that you can download the RBDR app from the Apple Store so that you can view PRVR on any iOS device. Please share Pharma Research Video Report with your friends and peers in the business and invite them to subscribe. It's free. Good luck with your research, and we'll see you back here next week.